sufficient evidence to suggest that there's one what the piece is.
If our p-value was super small, we'd say there's no way this could ever happen.
You're never going to agree with it. You're just going to only say if you
You
disagree
either
with
reject
it.
it or you fail to reject it. Yep.
So
Absolutely.
you're in a way.
It sure is. Sure is.
Why are you talking about .083? What does that have to do? You're just looking at this number, saying if this number's too big or too small.
Correct.
Where does this .083?
That is worked into the z-score. We use that within the z-score to
You're talking about the
calculate.
null hypothesis. Isn't that the null hypothesis? .083?
Yes. Yes. Yes.
So we're talking about the .083, but
Yes.
we're talking about this one.
Yes, we're talking about the p-value at the very, very end.
And this one right here,
Yes.
0.09, but that's not the null.
No, that's the p-value. That we're trying to. That's going to give us the significance. If it's super big, we say that this could happen. If it's super small, we say it can't happen. Okay. Question. All right, let's try one more, and maybe it will become a little bit more clear. The more that I become more clear, too. So, according to a firm, and the reason I put all this on is because tons of this is just extra. So instead of having you sit there and write this whole entire thing for 15 minutes, it's all extra. But basically, you should get about 30.1% of all of your proportion when you're looking through the ledgers of a company. There should be a disproportionate amount of number ones that begin each of these values for when they're looking at their records. Okay, didn't know that, but that's the way it's wording. 30.1 of the numbers in financial records begin with the digit 1. So normally you think, well, there'd be a tenth or something like that, but because it's 1, that's the way 1 comes up a lot more often in financial records. So the way this says is, suppose a random sample of 300 expenses from a company's financial records, only 80 or 68 expenses begin with the digit 1. So first of all, let's figure out what our proportion is. And then we'll go from there. Of course. So what is 68 out of 300? 68 out of 300, I just pulled it right from here. This was 68 out of 300. So when I did this, I got 0.227? 67? It's fine. I'm going to use 0.227. Something like that. It's fine. Now, let's start. First, let's see. Can we do all these? Random, normal, independent. Okay, is that, first of all, 10% rule is the independent right there. So hopefully we're getting used to some of these wordings. 10%. Do you think we're sampling 300 expenses from a company's financial records? You think they've got more than 3,000 expenses? 10% bigger. All right. Random, does it say something about random in there?
Yes.
All right, perfect. Normal, we're looking for this NP. And we're actually going to do the regular N, 30.301 times the 300. Make sure that this is bigger than 10. And then the opposite of 301 is 699.
So you're doing 0.301
Mm-hmm.
times 300,
Mm-hmm.
and you're trying to get it.
You're using your expected values in there, what you expect to receive the... I believe it's 6.699, right? So when I think about 30% of 300, I'm thinking our answer is going to be around 90.
Yeah.
And then I'm thinking 70% of 300 is going to be like 210, something like that. So that should still be normal. And the only way you can do these is if those three conditions are met. So let's hear it.
You got 90.3.
Mm-hmm.
All right. What? 70%?
Yeah, this is 0.699 because you got to do the opposite.
Okay.
Opposite there. So we've been talking a lot about HO and HA. Let's say them first. HO and HA. What things are we going to test and what things aren't we going to test? Or what are we looking for? What do we expect to happen? HO, exactly.
We expect 0.301.
Oh, this is really broken. Okay. So you're thinking that HO would be, and you don't have to put PO if you don't want to. You could put P, but it should be 0.301. That's kind of what we want to happen. It's what we're expecting to happen. I put PO in there so that we could use it within the formula, but this means the same exact thing. So you might have PO, PA, you could keep it P. It's the same number. We're saying our P value is going to be the same, or our P value. Now, it doesn't say that we want greater, and it doesn't say that we want less, right? It's just different. So let's put a little line through it. Meaning that it could be greater, it could be less, but it can't be on the money. It can't be equal to 0.301. So another way of looking at it, sometimes you're going to see that you're looking for a number bigger, sometimes you're looking for a number smaller. We're trying to figure out two things, if it happens or if it's a different number. And what we're going to end up doing is we're going to be using kind of like two tails. Top and bottom, because we have instead of just less than or just greater than, we're going to do both, less than and greater than for this type of a problem. So first off, do we lose anybody on these null hypothesis, alternative hypothesis, anything like that?
Why is it 0.301?
301.
Last time
We used 112 for the last one because it was supposed to be 112.
yeah.
So we're going to use 0.301 because it's supposed to be 0.301.
Okay.
Okay? This is sometimes called the test statistic, but it's just your z-score. Okay, so just in case you run into a problem with the book that says test statistic, that's just what it means, the z-score. So what numbers should we be putting in? We've got a lot of different numbers written down, but it's just a z-score. What did happen? 0.227. You got it. What was supposed to happen? 301. If you look on that formula sheet, this is going to have this kind of a formula for it. So we're going to still use that same type of formula. We're always going to use 301. These are going to be our 301s throughout the whole thing. 301 throughout this part over here. Only time that we use that value that we ended up getting is going to be at the beginning of the p-score like that. So we've got our 301. And the neat thing is, I think 699 was the one that we noticed from up here when we were doing the normal. That's always going to be the case because it's the opposite, or the 1 minus 301. 0.301. And then how many people did we survey? 300. Okay, so take a minute and find the z-score, and then we're going to find the proportion. It's actually a lot easier than you think. Well, this is, we're going to take whatever it is and we're going to use it twice. We want the upper and we want the lower ends. So it depends on what it comes out to be. Like, is it a negative? Is it a positive? So it's going to be a low number. We're going to get the bottom half. So that'll be good. And then it's going to be the same thing for that. But we're not, not 1 minus. This is it for that bottom part then. And then we're going to use it twice. So to signify the top part of that tail.
We're going to do it again.
No, we're just going to double it.
Oh, just so
Because we want the bottom part and the top part.
those double